My dear friends in Jesus, I welcome you all to this daily Catholic reflection, and this is Father Velangini Thumma. Today we are on the 6th week of Ordinary Time, Wednesday. The Gospel that we are invited to reflect upon is taken from Mark chapter 8, verses 22 to 26. Where in Bethsaida Jesus cures a blind man. Now, let us situate chronologically in the Gospel of Mark this particular healing of the blind man. We can basically divide the Gospel of Mark into three parts. The first part, until today's Gospel miracle of healing the blind man, where until now Jesus' ministry, his teaching, healing, everything was basically on the whole meant for the people at large, for the multitudes. But from now, in the second part of the Gospel, the focus changes. The attention of Jesus changes from the multitude crowd to the disciples exclusively. Therefore, there is a shift from the first part to the second in today's Gospel miracle. And third part of the Mark's Gospel is the passion, death and resurrection. And the miracle of healing the blind man happens today in Bethsaida. Bethsaida is the place where three apostles were called by Jesus for his ministry, including Peter and his brother Andrew. And Jesus performed so many miracles in this place because this is a Jewish area, a land, a place where there is a lot of religiosity. So that is the context of the place and the miracle today. And first of all, blindness was considered a curse because of the sinfulness either of the man or of his parents or ancestors. That's why in John's Gospel chapter 9 verses 1 and 2, when Jesus heals a blind man, in that setting there is a question asked: who is the reason for the blindness of this man? Is it his sins or the sins of his parents? So that means clearly blindness is considered and seen by everybody as a curse from God because of somebody's sins. And there is also so many specialities for this miracle. There are only two miracles that are found exclusively in the Gospel of Mark. And these two miracles we do not find in Matthew, Luke and John. That is today's healing of the blind man, and the other one is what we have in chapter 7, healing of the deaf man. There are so many similarities between these two miracles, and these two miracles are exclusively found only in the Gospel of Mark. And the similarities are, in both the miracles, the sick person is brought by the family and the parents. And both the places they ask him to touch. They ask Jesus to touch. And Jesus takes these sick people aside. And Jesus touches and he heals. And in both the occasions, Jesus tells them not to proclaim it to anybody. And Jesus, today, there is another speciality for this miracle. Only here in this miracle, Jesus gives the healing in a two-step way, not at once. Gradually, the blind person from total blindness to complete healing. It doesn't come suddenly but step by step. And here in today's gospel, in this miracle only, in this healing only, Jesus is asking question. Are you able to see? What do you see? Such kind of questions Jesus is asking. And nowhere else Jesus questioned those whom he healed elsewhere in the Gospels. And Jesus takes the saliva from his mouth and he smears it upon the eyes of the man. What is the meaning behind it? I think Jesus is transferring that healing power that he has from him to this man. Now we find in Matthew chapter 11 verse 20 that those cities where Jesus performed so many miracles, he started to condemn them because they did not repent. Now Bethsaida is one of the cities where Jesus performed so many miracles. Therefore, we hear that Jesus is condemning Bethsaida. Alas to you, Bethsaida and Chorazin, if the miracles that I performed in you have been performed in Tyre and Sidon, those people must have repented. Now, Tyre and Sidon, they are the wicked cities. People were living and committing all kinds of sins. And we read in Amos chapter 1 verse 9 that people of Tyre and Sidon, they were selling Jewish people as slaves. Therefore, Tyre and Sidon, the cities that were proclaimed and seen as very wicked cities, versus Bethsaida and Tyre and Sidon are pagan cities. Bethsaida is a Jewish city and a city of religion. There are so many synagogues here. So one would expect that Bethsaida is a blessed city. But Jesus condemns the same Bethsaida where he performed so many miracles. And Jesus says, hell will be hotter for people of Bethsaida. Hell will be hotter for people of Bethsaida than it is for the people of Tyre and Sidon. My dear brothers and sisters, this miracle of healing this blind man has a lot of meaning and a lot of lessons for all of us. Because by healing the blind man, Jesus is proclaiming himself as the Messiah. Because healing the blind is what a Messiah does as promised. And also that is a characteristic of God's kingdom. We see in Psalm 146 verse 8 that the Lord opens the eyes of the blind. And we see in Isaiah 29 verse 18 that on the day the blind will see. And Isaiah chapter 35 that the blind's eyes will be opened. So by performing this miracle, immediately following these words, Peter proclaims that he is Christ, the true Son of God. Therefore, as the healing came not suddenly but by steps, may our faith also increase day by day. I thank you for joining me every day, and as always, do not keep this good news with yourself. Let the good news be shared to everybody. Have a blessed day.